Hi and Jambo Njabo, welcome back to this channel. Today we are diving into one of the pillars of classroom management, the hardest for us teachers and parents of young children, and that is conflict resolution. How to help children problem solve their own issues before they come to us. My name is Margaret Jeroge, and I have been an educator of young children for many years. So why is conflict resolution so important? Why is it so vital? It is vital because it is one of the essential skills that children need to learn to coexist peacefully with one another, to produce a conducive environment where every child can peacefully be able to explore and discover. Most of the time, children will fight over three things: toys, that is equipment, space, relationships. They struggle because they do not know how to relate to each other developmentally. They are learning how to do it. It's a muscle. And the sooner we start younger, the better developmentally. They may not be able to inhibit themselves. So understanding this will make it easier for us, giving them the tools and ways in which they can do that amicably. But first, pack up patience and be consistent. It takes time, then be consistent. Whatever you teach them, make sure that you follow through. The second one, probably unpopular, but I one of the keys is to do nothing. To teach ourselves to do nothing, not to interfere with children when they are having conflicts, because guess what? It might be the point. Maybe they just want to experiment. They are trying to experiment so many things on how to resolve their own issues. If there is danger, be interfering, or if they come to ask you. Number three, provide positive feedback. When we see children proactively try to solve their own problems and their own issues, to let them know that we noticed. And the solution may not even be perfect. It may not even be nice. But hey, they tried. This encourages them to keep on trying. Remember, they're experimenting. The other one is we need to create a safe learning environment in the classroom where children are spending so much time there. So remember, if there is a conflict and it is only two children and maybe there is a crying involved, other children are uncomfortable and they are wondering how to go about it. How can we create a safe environment? By creating boundaries before all these conflicts happen. For example, keeping hands to ourselves, using inside voices, encouraging to ask help or asking for things before you take them. And you train them, and then you model for them to see. You and I, most of the time we find ourselves as referees, but we are not supposed to be doing referees. I'm laughing because I have found myself being a referee. But we are mediators. We are mediators guiding children to resolve their own conflicts rather than imposing the solutions or the rules. When children come to see us to problem solve, they might not actually be looking for solutions. They are looking for us to guide them on how to get there. So what are the steps to resolve the conflicts? One of the things is to really identify and acknowledge the issue or the problem that they are facing. For example, if two children are fighting over a toy or disagreeing over a space or over the friendships, acknowledge that to be a problem, because it is. You can say things like, I noticed both of you want to play with this toy. Brainstorm the solution. You ask them, what should we do? You don't tell them what to do. That, I'll take you to, or you pray this time and this pray. You just took away the opportunity to teach them. If they're not coming up with a solution, you can use the I wonder if you prayed with this toy, or we prayed this toy, I wonder whether it could work. You are not telling them what to do. You are just giving them how to think through solving problems. Then make sure that you're helping them choose the best options among the many solutions that they will give. Help them evaluate those solutions and that they follow through. And again, this may not even be fair, it may not be nice, but they came up with the ideas. And if they came up with ideas, remember your job is to train that child. And they're coming from a space where they don't know. Then you implement the options that they have make sure that you are reviewing whether it worked. You ask them, did it work? If they say no, you ask them what didn't work and what else can we do? I know already you're asking about that child with aggressive behavior. What about that child who pushes, or that child who aggressively takes the toys? What about that child? I will say this. In my over 2 decades time with children, I know for sure that most of the time children will use the methods that has worked in the past. If the child wanted a toy, and when they push that child, they drop the toy and they walk away crying, and nobody says anything, of course that works. Hey, that works. Because I want you to know that children are so goal oriented. If it is the toy they just wanted and they hit, they push, they get the toy, hey, that has worked. Our job is to lead alternative ways to achieve the same goal that they were having. How do we do that? We model the appropriate behavior. For example, what I have done, if the child is pushed or maybe hit because the other child wanted the toy, I will go to the children and I will comfort the child who was hit, talk to them of what it is that they are feeling. For example, I will ask them, tell me the story, what happened? And they'll tell me so and so hit me. It's like, oh my goodness, and that did not feel good, did it? And they'll say no. And I go, what should we do now? And of course, I comfort that child. What I'm doing at that moment, I'm modeling for this child who hates that there are other ways of getting that toy, because that is so unexpected for an adult to go and comfort the child who is crying. The child did not expect that. Remember, you are an advocate for both. You are mediating for both, for the one who hit and for the one, of course, who is a victim. Then you resolve the issue by asking the other one to help him or her to own the problem. If they're not really getting there, because sometimes children don't know how to connect between the emotions with their act, you can lead them there by personalize that challenge. For example, I usually say, what did you want to tell your friend? You decided to use your hands to talk to them. Or what did you want to tell your friend? You decided to use your teeth to talk to them. And if they say the toy, I will flip it back to them. Would you like them next time when they want the toy you're holding, use their teeth to talk to you? Time they will say no. And I say, because? And they will say, because it hurts. Oh, then did you know then they got hurt when you used your teeth? What should we do now to make them feel better? And you lead that child, not really, and this is key. We are not helping the child own the problem to make them guilty. Because again, you are advocating for the two children. Both children are yours. They're in your classroom. They are your students. And empowering both of them really helps doing that respectively and teaching them empathy and compassion. We can tie it together with help them recognize their own emotions and their peers' emotions. It encourages them to get in touch with themselves and remember the boundaries, respecting the space, respecting the toys in the classroom or the equipment in the classroom, ways to communicate. At least when you're talking, use inside voice, keep hands to yourself, ask before you take, so that when the conflict arises, they'll have a reference. Most of the time when you do that and you have the visual part of that, it really helps. I hope these tips helps in managing your classroom or home environment more effectively. Remember, teaching children conflict resolution is an ongoing process. It takes time and it takes practice. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of consistency. Let me know strategies that you have used in your classroom or even at home. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.